So you have your Illustrator file, such as this, with all the different layers, and you would like to somewhat animate this, bring it into After Effects or Final Cut. I'm going to show you the end product of what happens. So this is the illustration we just saw, and step by step you turn it into an animation. So it breaks down how to get the Illustrator files into an animation form. The first step is to release the paths. So each one of these is your layers. For example, this is people outlined, different parts of the sketch was arranged at least in layers. So, but if you dig into the lower levels, you'll see all the markings that contributed to the higher level layers. But in order to export the layers, these paths have to be released to layers. Illustrator won't export paths, they'll only export layers. So in order to do that, you have to go to this little triangle tab here and select a group and release to layers, build. Not the sequence, because the build is what's going to add up to your drawing. You'll see. So release to layers. So that's what I'm going to do, is release to layers. And notice now all those paths turned into layers, 4 to 6 of them. And each one of those is going to become a step in the animation. Okay, and then one step. In order to get this to export the layers that you want to, you have to hold down Shift and bring all your recently converted layers into the highest level. So you just drag and pull up, and they didn't quite get there, so I'm gonna have to do it again. Oops. Shift. Shift. Come on. All right, there we go. And there we go. So now they're at the top level. We're going to need to uncheck these ones. I am unchecking all the layers. I'm not going to do them all right now. I'm just exporting the one layer at a time. You'll see for ease in animation afterwards why that's important. You can do them all at the same time. You just have to bring every single layer out to the highest level and then have them sequenced correctly. But I'd rather do the sequence in animation program such as Final Cut or After Effects, Premiere, or whatever. So then, once you have these all at your highest level, you're going to run a script. And so in order to run a script, you go to Scripts and you select Export Layers as PNG in multiple resolutions. And I will show you how to get these scripts, but for now, they're not built into Illustrator. You have to install them. But this is what message you come up with. Oops, found no layers to export. Remember that you must add a number or percentage sign when exporting layers. Percentage when layer should be clipped to artboard. And that's what we want, because we want it to maintain this artboard. We don't want the clipping to just isolate each sketch. So we actually want to maintain the artboard, its place in the artboard, whichever little piece of this. So in order to get those scripts, you can look at the websites linked below this tutorial, or just download the zip file I have attached to get those scripts. I know scripts are kind of daunting for people, but I don't write them. A lot of smarter people than me write them. And so these are the two websites that I got them from. The first one allows you to export layers as PNG files from Illustrator in multiple resolutions. Thank you, this genius, whoever came up with this. That's awesome. And the key part of this is that you have to go in and adjust the script a little bit, because I did not want multiple resolutions, so I just changed that to false and saved the script. Now the scripts rest inside the Illustrator file. So if you bring up, the Illustrator application. So if you click on your Illustrator application and you go into presets and NUS scripts, and this is where you just download the script and just drop it into this folder, this big folder. And so that there it is, export layers as, which I downloaded from this website. So if you click on this, it's going to bring up this, I think it's JavaScript, not sure, some type of code program. But you can change this to false if you just want one PNG, which is what I needed. I didn't need multiple PNGs exported. So that is where and then you would just save it back into the same spot. Save it, or just close it, I think, if you were adjusting it. Then the other one, I found that, renaming every layer is tedious, right? If you wanted to put a percentage in there on every one, that gets to be pretty tedious. So there's a nice program that allows you to rename all your layers in one fell swoop. Is that right language? All right. So that is the other website I have linked here, and it is on this Adobe Forms page, reworking Photoshop layer renaming script for Illustrator. So it's got the download link there. So once you install that script and drop it in that same folder, this is what you get. You might have to restart Illustrator for it to work, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I forgot. So what happens is, say I have all these layers here and I want to rename them. I go to script change name. That's what I called it. Chain name. Whoops. Okay. Well, anyways, it should say change name. Doesn't matter what you call the script. And I put in percentage because that's what the other script is asking me for. And then I'm just naming it people so I can know which layer I'm working with. Percent people. And if I hit rename, it is going to rename. If you look here, can't make this bigger, right? You can zoom in. They renamed all of my layers and sequenced it perfectly. So that's great, especially when you're going into After Effects. So now that you have that renamed, this should work. Now if you run the script and you hit export layers as PNG files, there it goes. It's starting to export each individual layer in kind of sequential order, however you drew it, as a layer, and it should show you which folder it is going to be putting it in. It's going to put it in whatever project folder you're at. Mine is Art for the People folder, and it's going to put it in an export folder. So that's how you get the individual layers, and I'll just show you that export folder, what that looks like. Here we go. Export folder. There it is. It creates the folder for you, I believe. And here are all my recent PNGs. If you look here, they're PNGs, so this way you can put them over each other and they build the drawing. All right, and then you're in Final Cut. We're gonna go to Final Cut and show you how to do it. I'm not messing with After Effects. It's a little too tricky for me. Didn't work as easily. I don't have much control. So here we go to Final Cut now. Okay, so we're in Final Cut, and you want to bring in all the stills, PNG files into Final Cut. Before you do that, go to User Preferences and the Editing tab and set the freeze still duration to 0.0100th of a second. So that'll give you, I mean, you can tinker with this to see how long you want each frame to be on the screen, but I found that 01 seemed pretty natural for me, 01. So once that's selected, you can import those files. You could do the folder if they're all in one folder, but in my case I didn't really arrange it yet, so I'm going to go to the file, desktop, art for the people, the export folder, bring those files in that I just did, and choose. So now if you just drag them all onto here, they each should be one hundredth of a frame, and so there it is. Let me run it back. It's so quick, all that effort for just 2 seconds, but there it is. People. This is for the people. Art for the people tutorial. Breaking it down. Scripts and stuff. Don't let it intimidate you. I don't write them, I'm just saying. But you can still use other people's great work.